In the past 4 years, I've been able to generate over $12 million using B2B sales strategies, and today I'm finally releasing the script that helped me make it all happen. So I'm a big fan of the quote, good artists copy, great artists steal. And when I first started, I did not know how to sell properly. So what stopped me from hitting my goals was the knowledge on how to sell. Now, I read a lot about sales and I read a lot about how to grow your business. However, none of those strategies worked for me. So what I ended up doing is I found strategies that I liked. I took elements from them and I combined them into my strategy that I call spin with a twist. So spin selling is a very famous sales strategy, and it says situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. I personally love the first half of that strategy because understanding your client's situation and understanding your client's problem is going to allow you to serve them at the highest level. The problem I notice most beginner salespeople face is that they are trying very hard to sell. I know we want to sell, but the whole goal is truly to help. When you truly understand someone's current situation and problems, that will allow you to help them at the highest level. So in order to do this, you want to first start off by asking situation-based questions. You have to think about your business in a way that will help them, and you want the answers that will give you all the ammunition you need to close. However, in order to do that, situation-based questions are along the lines of, tell me a little bit about X. What are you doing in Y? Things like that. And once you've dug deep enough and understand the problems that that person is facing through their current situation, you can start what we call the doctor frame. When you go to the doctor, you give them your symptoms and they prescribe you the medication. With this situation, you want to ask questions that will directly give you ammo, and then from that ammo, you can start asking problem-related questions that will enhance how big that problem is using their situation. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of the last two parts of spin selling because I think in today's day and age, you sound like a used car salesman. Nothing is wrong with selling cars. However, it's not gonna work in B2B sales because of the way the marketplace is shifting. What I believe you wanna do now is set yourself up in a position of leverage. Most people that are starting off in sales, you deep down truly do not believe that much in yourself, and that is the biggest bottleneck. In order to believe in yourself, the only thing you can do is accumulate case studies, accumulate proof that what you say is true and who you say you are is in fact who you are. The easiest way to do that is to make a case study out of everything that you do. I'll give you guys an example. When we were first starting off, we didn't have these major crazy case studies, but what we ended up doing is we made a case study out of every client talking about the benefits of the campaign that we generated for them. For example, if the campaign wasn't successful financially, which obviously is the goal, then what we would have done is a case study about exposure, about reach, about impressions. And even though to you that may not mean anything, because at the end of the day, let's say theoretically you might have lost that client, what you are able to do is start accumulating case studies, and that gives you a lot of leverage. Now, after you've done this successfully, what you want to do is you want to combine everything that you've done up to that point, and the way you ask for the sale needs to be very specific to their situation and problem. And just to pause the video here, I want to let you guys know that different people buy in different ways. An example of this that I always love to give is if you go to the mall and you go to a very expensive designer store, let's say if you go to Gucci or LV or something of that sort, if you ask for a discount, they're gonna be so confused because that's not what their business does. As compared to you, because let's say theoretically you are selling a service, you devalue your price based on how much someone else's budget is. To compare, if you go to Gucci and you don't have the amount that is needed to buy a bag, well, you're not gonna get that bag. It's really that simple. And that's the problem with service-based businesses. You don't know how to price yourself and you don't know how to be firm enough on your price so that people start to see that you have no leverage. And that will allow them to negotiate down your prices, pay you very little dollar amounts, and give you very easy objections to handle that can be easily handled if you had the right leverage. The way you build that is again through case studies. You can also build that through testimonials, like videos of people saying, Christian did a great job for me. Or the third one that I think a lot of people sleep on is public relations. A very easy way for you to accumulate articles and things written about you is simply to reach out. The quote I think about when it comes to this is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. One of the PR articles that we use still to this day was when we talked on TV about how you can grow your business during the pandemic. The pandemic was about 4 years ago, right? But we still use it to today because PR is for the lifetime, right? If you got featured on Forbes today, at the age of 70 or 80, you are still technically someone that got featured on Forbes. If you are a best-selling author once, if you release 20 books, you're still going to be a best-selling author. And again, a lot of people are so scared to do this, but all you really have to do is reach out to these news stations, reach out to these blogs, and really just offer to help. Because at the end of the day, you need to think about it from their perspective as well. They are also businesses and they have to fill up the slots. They have to fill up how many blogs they're writing. And really, as long as you ask, there is always a good chance that you might be featured or at least get the opportunity to speak live on TV, which I know sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, if you know what you're talking about, you should have nothing to worry about. And when you are on there, you're able to present your business, and then that clip right there or that article right there can be used as PR for the lifetime of your campaign. So to recap everything that we talked about today, I'm gonna walk you guys through how I sell step by step. The first thing I do is before someone even becomes a lead, I have planted so many seeds out there on the internet that makes me look like the expert. An example of this is if you guys go to the Gentek Marketing Instagram account, you will see that our pinned posts are testimonials. So if I'm running an ad on Instagram to book appointments, someone goes to our profile to do their research before they book the appointment, they're going to see all those case studies. And then not just that, but also in the ad where they are booking the appointment, I am also talking about these case studies. And then once they click on the ad and they go to the funnel, I'm also simply highlighting the case studies that we've worked with. And then when someone books a call, what I end up doing is at the beginning of that call, I always use the same line, which is, hey, I'm not sure about how much research you did about us, but if you don't mind, I always love to take 3 minutes to give you a 10,000 foot overview of our company. Is that cool? And not once has someone said, no, that's not cool. So what I end up doing is I just go to the next slide and I talk about our PR, and then I go to the slide following and I talk about our case studies. Those two things are simply the easiest things you can do to build yourself a lot of leverage. So 3 minutes into the call, you are already positioning yourself as the expert or the doctor through the doctor frame, so that when you do your ask at the end, you are reputable enough to make that ask. So after you've given yourself a ton of leverage in only the first 3 minutes of a meeting, you can then dive into situation and then dive into problem and then diagnose the solution. And a problem that most people face is that they always tend to prescribe themselves as the solution when really you may not be the solution they need. So if someone comes to us and says, I want help with my website, if their goal is to increase their revenue and a website is not directly correlated to them increasing their revenue, then I'm going to tell them that straight up, right? Like at the end of the day, being honest comes back down to helping, which comes back down to selling and being really good at sales. Because a really good salesperson is truly someone that is just helping them transact. It's not someone that is going to sell them something that they don't need. So when it comes down to your diagnosis, you need to truly become an expert. You need to educate yourself. You need to become better at what you sell so that you can truly diagnose whether or not what you are giving them is going to solve their problem. Because if you diagnose something incorrect and they end up going through with it, you're going to be hit with bad reviews, bad word on the street. You're going to start getting hit with a lot of people talking poorly about your company, which in terms is the complete opposite of the leverage we're looking for. After you've done that successfully, you want to showcase your program. You want to suggest which one of the programs is the best fit for X person. And then you want to do what we call assuming the sale. You say, these are the 3 programs. To solve your problem, you need this program. This is the pricing of this program. And the next steps are very simple. It's you want to process the invoice, square away the agreement, and then initiate your onboarding. That's just ours. You obviously have to find your own, but you need to figure out what does it look like after the sale. The mistake I see a lot of people do here is that they're so scared to pitch price that you end up delaying that time. And then once you do pitch price, you freeze and you don't know what to do next. So give yourself something to do after you pitch price, because if you've done your job successfully, you should have no objections other than a price objection. If you're pitching price and you're getting an objection not directly related to price, that means you didn't do your job properly in situation, problem, and giving yourself leverage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've used this sales script again to close over $12 million in sales. I use this all the time, and I've multiplied it across different verticals, different businesses, and it works every single time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.